Today, we will talk about every type of wealth explained. What is wealth? Wealth measures the value of all the assets of worth owned by a person, community, company, or country. Wealth is determined by taking the total market value of all physical and intangible assets owned, then subtracting all debts. Essentially, wealth is the accumulation of scarce resources. Specific people, organizations, and nations are said to be wealthy when they are able to accumulate many valuable resources or goods. Wealth can be contrasted with income in that wealth is a stock and income is a flow, and it can be seen in either absolute or relative terms. Understanding wealth, wealth can be expressed in a variety of ways. In a purely material sense, wealth consists of all the real resources under one's control. Financially, net worth is the most common expression of wealth. Definitions and measures of wealth have been different over time among societies. In modern society, money is the most common means of measuring wealth. Measuring wealth in terms of money is an example of money's function as a unit of account. The extent to which outside forces can manipulate the value of money can have a dramatic impact on measuring wealth in this way, but it provides a convenient common denominator for comparison. Otherwise, land and even livestock can be used to measure and evaluate wealth. The ancient Egyptians, for instance, once measured wealth based on wheat. Herding cultures have often used sheep, horses, or cattle as measures of wealth. All of a person's, a community's, a company's, or a country's worth is considered while calculating their wealth. In order to calculate net worth, first, add up all of the physical and intangible assets and then remove all of the debts. In its most basic form, wealth is the amassing of limited resources. In common belief, wealth can be defined as an abundance of objects bearing economic merit or the condition of being able to control or possess such items, most commonly in the form of money. On the other hand, riches, another word for wealth, is defined as having a lot of material belongings and a lot of money. Riches are usually just that, a wealth of material possessions and status. Wealth refers to financial stability, which can be achieved by accumulating savings and investments. Savings, property, and investments can all contribute to wealth. How to measure wealth? Measuring wealth in terms of money overcomes the problem of evaluating wealth in the form of different kinds of goods. These values can then be added or subtracted together. This, in turn, permits the convenient use of net worth as a measure of wealth. Net worth is equal to assets minus liabilities. For businesses, net worth is also known as shareholders' equity or book value. In common sense terms, net worth expresses wealth as all the real resources under one's control, excluding those that ultimately belong to someone else. Wealth is a stock variable as opposed to a flow variable like income. Wealth measures the amount of valuable economic goods accumulated at a given point in time. Income measures the amount of money or goods obtained over a given interval of time. Income represents the addition to wealth over time, or subtraction if it is negative. A person whose net income is positive over time will become increasingly wealthy over time. For countries, gross domestic product, GDP, can be thought of as a measure of income, a flow variable, though it is often erroneously referred to as a measure of wealth, a stock variable. Anyone who has accumulated a large quantity of net worth can be considered wealthy, but most people think of this term in more of a relative sense. Whether measured in terms of money and net worth, or in commodities like wheat or sheep, total wealth can vary among individuals and groups. The relative differences in wealth between people are what we usually refer to in order to define who is wealthy or not. Research has consistently shown that people's perception of their own well-being and happiness depends much more on their estimates of wealth relative to other people than on absolute wealth. This is also part of why the concept of wealth is usually applied only to scarce economic goods. Goods that are abundant and free for everyone provide no basis for relative comparisons across individuals. Equally as impressive, wealthy e-commerce giant Amazon boasted revenue of $386 billion for 2021, earning it the number 2 position on Fortune's list. Despite experiencing a leadership change and a shortage of workers, the company continued to flourish in 2021, posting profits more than 54% higher versus 2020. Its market capitalization, $1.66 trillion as of March 31, 2022, has also positioned it as one of the wealthiest companies in the world. A common misconception about wealth is that a high income, fancy cars, or nice houses means that someone is wealthy. We believe there is a distinct difference between rich, the superficial trappings of wealth, and true wealth. Wealth is the freedom to focus on what really matters and do what you want. When you want, how do you want? It's not an artificial series of numbers on a spreadsheet or how many zeros in your bank account. There is no magic number you'll reach and feel wealthy. In fact, it may be difficult for you to ever feel like you are wealthy. Our latest Money Guy Wealth Survey of our millionaire clients found that 75% do not consider themselves wealthy. If you have a financial mutant mindset now and live below your means to build wealth, reaching a level of wealth that makes you feel comfortable is an ongoing and constantly evolving process. Achieving an amount of wealth that provides you happiness and fulfillment is different from person to person. Depending on what you want to achieve and your goals in retirement, the amount of money that you need to feel comfortable could be vastly different from your peers. It's important to focus on what wealth means to you and not what the world views as wealthy. You don't need fancy cars, big houses, or designer clothes to be wealthy. Being a millionaire doesn't define wealth, but it is, at the very least, a great start. In the US, 8.8% of adults are millionaires. However, when looking at only financial assets, about 2.8% of our adult population are millionaires, or 7.4 million Americans. No matter how you slice it, a majority of the country would probably not be considered wealthy by American standards. When will you achieve true wealth? You can start by checking how much you need to invest to become a millionaire with the Money Guy Wealth Multiplier. Reaching your desired level of wealth isn't as simple as reaching millionaire status, but once you know exactly how powerful your dollars are, you can imagine how quickly you will reach the definition of true wealth for you. Each stage of building wealth comes with its own set of celebrations and challenges. Our 5 levels of wealth gives you a chance to measure your progress. See which level of wealth describes your financial situation and what it takes to move to the next level. Unlike the financial order of operations, our 5 levels of wealth are more linear, and not everyone starts at the first level of wealth. Reaching this milestone earns you the millionaire next-door title of prodigious accumulator of wealth. This distinction is the point that you are considered balance sheet affluent, as opposed to income statement affluent, meaning high earners with low assets. It means you have accomplished the goal of building an army of dollar bills that can work as hard for you as you have over your working career. Take a deep breath and enjoy the accomplishment. No matter what level of wealth you are at, understanding where you are now and learning more about what it takes to get to the next level can add rocket fuel to your financial journey. Unpack more details of our 5 levels of wealth in the latest episode below. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.